Hello, and thank you so very much for requesting that I react to this video. So I will be doing a reaction to this video and giving my analysis. So let's get right to it. This is going to be a pretty interesting one to react to.
Hasan Piker is a social media superstar, really, with almost 3 million followers on the video streaming platform Twitch. He's a progressive fan of Bernie Sanders. So popular, Democratic Party invited him to the DNC in August, and he sat down with CNN's Joni O'Sullivan. Here's a little bit.
There's a general sense that when it comes to the world of podcasts, alternative media, I don't even know what you want to call it, that Trump did a much better job with that than Democrats and Harris.
Absolutely. I think that's true.
Harris did consider going on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But she didn't. What is it that the Democrat Party has to do differently?
Well, I think that they need to change their policies.
Hassan's right. No matter what a spin that you can do, no type of, changing the narrative, no type of adjusting the message is really going to change the actual material conditions that are going on the ground right now. When we look at our bank accounts, we look at our wallets, we actually see the material conditions of what these policies have brought forth, and it's brought us forth nothing. And so I don't care. You can talk about changing the message all you want, but the problem is that the real message that we listen to is our bank accounts, is our living conditions, right? These are the messages, but it has to be done materially. And the problem is that the Democratic Party never actually does listen to it. They actually just want to focus on vibes, like what vibes we're giving you off of the terrible policies that we did. And even if they did do some worthwhile policies, it doesn't affect enough people because they basically means tested themselves into a corner. So
it's a policy thing.
Yes, it's 100% a policy thing.
Because
Which is the boring answer. Although it would be very self-serving for me to say, I'm the left's Joe Rogan, the Democratic Party should give me millions of dollars. That's not going to solve this problem. What will solve this problem is if the Democratic Party actually adopts real left-wing economic populist messaging instead of purposely avoiding that stuff because they're terrified of upsetting their corporate donors.
That's also another good point, because they are terrified of upsetting their corporate donors. And the problem is that they're so tied to corporations. They're so tied to the rich that they leave the working man, woman, and person out of the fray. They leave us out, to pasture. And so one of the things I think that he absolutely has this right. Now, as far as being the Joe Rogan of the left, number one, we don't need a Joe Rogan of the left, right? What we need is actual policies that are actually going to speak to the needs of the people. And, Hasan Piker is, Joe Rogan probably gets, more of the Gen X and millennial crowd versus somebody like Hasan Piker gets more of the Gen Z crowd. And the thing is like, while that is cool, the thing is like, I don't see a lot of millennials and Gen Xers really, getting the appeal from somebody like Hasan Piker. So, of course, there are many of us who are in independent left media, but the problem is that a lot of us are being suppressed by some of these platforms. So we're not getting out there. I know that I have more Gen X and millennial viewers than I do Gen Z or boomers. But the thing is like people like me and people like my colleagues in independent left media were being suppressed. So ultimately, are you supporting independent media? That's actually a really good question. But,
I think Trump speaks to male insecurities better. And I think Trump speaks to the anger that people have. Whereas the other side of the political spectrum does not speak to that anger at all.
Joining us right now, CNN senior political commentator Bakari Sellers and Lance Trover, the former spokesperson for Doug Burgum when he was running in the Republican presidential primary. It's good to see you guys. Thank you. Bakari, what do you think of all that? What Hasan Piker was telling Joni?
I wish he was paying attention. I mean, it's patently absurd.
Wait. You wish he was paying attention? That's what he was. That's why Kamala lost. Let me hear him out.
To say that he wishes that Kamala Harris would adopt some populist economic policies. Was he talking about the fact that she wanted to build 3 million new homes with housing tax credits, or was he talking about the child tax credit or the
Oh, wait. Building 3 million new homes. Did you know there are over 16 million vacant homes in this country? Building new homes is not going to naturally lower the cost of housing prices, because you can build new homes, but the problem is that these greedy corporate overlords are still going to keep the rents high so that they can make as much money as possible. People will say things like, oh, supply and demand, but the problem is that even with supply and demand, we're still suffering. There's 16 million vacant homes. How much more supply and demand do you need in order to lower the housing costs? It doesn't work. Why? Because the system is the problem. And then, you talk about Kamala Harris wanting to do a tax credit for first-time home buyers. Well, it's first-time home buyers and first-generation home buyers. So it means if you ever owned a home before, you're ineligible. And if your family ever owned a home, then you're ineligible, which means it's first generation, meaning I can't get a home, even though my mother's never owned a home, my grandmother's owned a home. So therefore, it would not be first generation. And so the devil's always in the details, and people like Bakari Sellers is always trying to hide the details. And the issue is that where was she on delivering a specific livable wage policy proposal? Where's the $25 an hour minimum wage? Oh, I'm sorry. Jill Stein had that. Where's the nationalized rent control? Oh, I'm sorry. Jill Stein had that. Where is the ending of shipping our jobs overseas to other countries? You know, where is the federal jobs guarantee that would make sure that every single American who needs to work can have a job and at a competitive, livable wage? Oh, I'm sorry. Jill Stein had that. So here's the problem. You can talk about these economic populist policies, like, for instance, child tax credit. You guys let that go. You let it go. And so now a lot of us who need these types of jobs and it needs these tax credits, they're not there because you let them go.
earned income tax credit. I mean, the economic policies that she laid out were numerous, and she was the one who actually put forth policy plans. She put forth policy plans for African American males. She put forth policy plans for Hispanic voters.
Meaning the policies that are on her website that she took forever to put up, the ones that she copied and pasted from Joe Biden. No, because the problem is that if she had put up those policies in time, we still would have saw them. But even if we saw them, it kept us away because we saw exactly the type of policies that she had. This is going to be a long reaction, I'll tell you.
So, I mean, I find it really troubling when people want to have a policy discussion. The fact is, more people know what was in Drake's lawsuit against UMG, and they've actually studied that more than they studied Kamala Harris's policy proposals on.
Oh no, Bakari. Oh no. You just insulted us. Number one, we can do both things at the same time. We can study Drake suing UMG for Kendrick's lyrics and his song, But we also, at the same time, can also go and look at Kamala's policies or non-existent policies and also see that they're not working for us and then vote against her. Now, whether they voted for Trump or third party or stayed home, that's a whole nother animal we can talk about. But the thing is that people like us, we did not vote for Kamala because of the policies or a lack of. That's the problem. And you're saying that, oh, we're too stupid or we don't care enough about ourselves because we didn't vote for her. No. Here's something that you need to recognize, Bakari. I voted third party, right? Some voted for Trump, some stayed home. We made that decision because we care about policy or because we don't care about these non-existent or these tweaked policies that aren't really going to help us in a really substantive way. Those policies that she set forth are really just a continuation of the status quo that we're sick and tired of. So we're not down with that.
On social media. So I don't really want to hear a conversation about she should have put forth more economic policy proposals when that was not the issue in this race at all.
That was the issue of this race. The issue was the economic policies. Economic policies and the genocide. That's all she had to answer for. That's all she had to really, she could have distanced herself from Biden and pushed further, more populist policies. And you know what's funny? Everybody keeps calling it populist policies when in reality, they're just left policies. Because the left policies are popular. But they don't want to do that because people like Bakari here, they don't want to go further to the left because it is against the wishes of the corporate dictators. This is why they have people like Bakari Sellers on, because he serves the corporate dictators. And it's not like he's bowing and kneeling before, just like Darth Vader does before the evil emperor, going, you know, whatever you wish, my lord. The issue is that Bakari actually believes this. So this is why he gets the job as being a contributor on CNN. It's all, you know, laid out. You know, and it's all laid out in one of the books, you know, Manufacturing Consent. That the reason why they hire these people is because, well, they actually legitimately believe the Kool-Aid they're drinking. But the thing is, it's like, you can say that it's, you know, not about the policies, but it is. And when I look at somebody like Bakari Sellers, number one, you're comfortable. So of course you can deny all you want because of your lived experience and being comfortable. But the problem is that the rest of us aren't. So therefore, we're voting based on our lived experience. And if our lived experience is uncomfortable, then what are we going to do? We're going to go into a different direction. And so we went in a direction that you didn't like. Well, maybe, just maybe, if you actually put forth policies that actually benefited us materially, then we would go in a direction that you would like. But you didn't. But she didn't. And that's the issue. So yeah. Thank you so very much for having me react to that. I got more I can say, but I ain't got too much time for that. But thank you very much and take care.